just yet. Was a favorite of Diamond, of course. We'll see where it goes. Lucian is the final ban. This may be a Caitlyn pick then.
But Lee Sin is open, and Gambit, they absolutely love to pick it. They've been taking it over Elise. Again, going back to Katowice, they picked it twice when Elise was open as the first pick. Diamond absolutely loves to play it.
That final ban made no sense to me, the Lucian ban, because we've already seen from Genja, he doesn't really care. He's going to build Zephyr on something. Generally, it could be Varus.
Well, if it is Varus, it's easier to lock him up than the likes of Lucian, and you want to bait me to talk about his build. I refuse to talk about Genja's build. However, if they get him to pick the Varus, it's easier to take something like Leona, something like Annie, and try and stun lock him in a team fight and just blow him up. But we do see the Lee Sin as the first pick here for Gambit. Again, they take it over Elise, take it over Evelynn. It is the #1 jungler from Diamond. He can be aggressive early on, and of course he can set up kills over and over again, and also he can really dive well. If he goes up to top lane with Darien, he plays a strong top laner, they can just dive over and over again against Wickd.
We'll see an alliance with their choices. Potential for Nami to come out here, pulling out your old champion there. We'll see how Nyph works out for it. We're just waiting to see whether it gets locked in. Plenty of time for this one. Renekton was also being considered along with Evelynn.
So in case they actually want to play Nami, it's another reason to ban away the Lucian. Because if it's a Varus, it's very easy to land your bubble, land your ultimate onto him, apply the slow, and he has no chance. He needs to flash or he will get CC'd. So I like the way oh, they actually lock it in. Nice. That is the reason they ban Lucian, 100%.
So we'll see how good those Aqua Prisons are for Nyph. So champions locked in. Renekton, of course, in that top lane. So that's a Renekton for Wickd.
So we actually see him now fall back onto Renekton. He played a lot earlier in the season. And with Renekton, of course, it is the same old story. You need to dominate your laning phase with it. And you need to win it, you need to dive the enemy top laner. Yasuo
being selected here. If you look at the solo queue of Alex Ich, he's been playing it pretty heavily since we saw the Chinese dominance over in the Intel Extreme Masters. They got absolutely stomped with by Yasuo.
And Froggen also really loves Yasuo at the moment. Both these mid laners have been playing it a lot, practice it a lot, and yeah, we saw how strong some of the teams at IEM Katowice was with this Yasuo. Always, they just first picked it. They didn't care. They just want to win the laning early game with it and just dominate the game.
You can see Genja unsure really what he wants to pick up at the moment. He's sticking with a fairly immobile champion, which would actually still suit Nami, but it is Jinx getting locked in for Genja. He has a very good win rate on that champion.
He does, and Jinx is a very good champion as long as you don't get CC'd early on. If you can actually stay in the back of the team fight and just hammer away, if you can get to level 6 in the laning phase, then with your ultimate you have so much upfront burst in the fight. So yeah, I like the Jinx pick, but against Nami, and if this Evelynn is getting locked in, it's very, very scary. You can just gank this bot lane over and over and over again.
So obviously going to be looking to see what the knock-up champions Gambit maybe go with. Kassadin is still open, remember, for Alliance, but at the moment it seems to be the jungler decision with Evelynn potentially getting locked in for Shu.
And again, a combo like this here, you have movement speed onto Nami, of course. With Sivir, pop the ultimate, you speed up everyone. And if you log in the likes of Evelynn to also engage with her ultimate, you have such a good combo to just pile onto Gambit here. And that's one of the things Gambit really needs to be careful for when you have this Jinx, because if you get overrun, there is no escape for you.
Sivir is locked in that Sivir-Nami lane. It seems like it will be, so that's their duo partnership. I wonder what support Edward's going to pull out here. Will it be Annie? Annie's still on the cards.
Annie would be a nice pick. Nami is a very squishy support. You can really burst her down easily, especially again at level 6 mark when you have the likes of Jinx. But a Karma here, I really love this because look again on the Alliance side. You have movement speed onto Evelynn, you have onto Sivir to the entire team, you have movement speed on Nami. So much utility onto Alliance side. So if you have Karma, you can at least try and counter it a little bit and try and disengage with it.
You can see whether it gets locked in. Olaf also being considered for that top lane. We saw a very strong Olaf from Leopard at the weekend. We'll see whether it's bled through into Gambit's team comp thoughts, because it's not really a champion that you'd expect to see Darien on, but actually, when you think about it, that Ragnarok fixed his playstyle very well. We did see him playing a lot of Shyvana. Had some great mechanics on that one, on them top turrets.
And what I like about Shyvana is you provide another knock-up for Yasuo to activate his ultimate. Olaf has nothing to give. So with this pick, we have seen this matchup in the top lane over and over again. Renekton is supposed to win early, but with some good help from Diamond honestly sin, they can actually turn around in favor of Darien and simply outscale the Renekton. And then with this teamfight combo here, if they get the engage going, if Diamond goes in, kicks someone back, Yasuo onto the target instantly, they will be able to burst down this target, pop the passive onto, of course, the Jinx, and then you can either chase or disengage with the likes of Karma speeding up your entire team.
Well, Shyvana with that ultimate has a... Darien does have a habit of getting caught out a little far up lane, as does Wickd.
He likes
fairness, both these two top laners are a similar composition, but look at this. Karthus was left open. We know for a fact, because we just spent a week with Froggen, this is by far his favorite champion.
Yeah, I don't think Froggen can explain enough how much he loves Karthus, and according to him, you can pick it into everything. There's no counter picks to Karthus.
I can tell you now, he spent 2 hours debating with Hai in the hotel lobby about LeBlanc versus Karthus. It took me to come along to rescue Hai. Hai looked exasperated by the end of it, but they have switched it away. They've gone with Kayle.
So what I like here about the Kayle pick is the fact you have so much single target damage from Gambit. The combo is all about kicking in a target, Yasuo ultimate from Jinx, explode the first target. Kayle completely destroys it from Alliance side here. And if you look on the side of Gambit again, so much physical damage. Going into the late game part, if Alliance are stacking armor onto Renekton, of course, we can see a Sonya's onto the likes of Kayle, and in general just go a lot of armor items, Randuin's Omen, of course, on Evelynn. It's going to be very hard for Gambit to kill them, unless they get ahead early on, they get a good lead, and they can really start using this pick combo a bit. And again, Alliance, I love their team combo. It is so good. It has everything. Look at all the movement speed they have. They can rotate the map so fast. They can start fights. They can back out of fights if they don't want to go for them. And just this Kayle lock in here should destroy Yasuo at least when the fight starts, because he's just going to ultimate the target he jumps onto.
Well, we will see how this one works out. You've seen the teams. We want to know exactly what you guys at home are going to be thinking. Quick start. Who do you go with?
I'll give it to Alliance, unless Gambit will win the early game and just snowball with this combo.
We'll see how this works out. As we begin these games, let's check out your predictions. According to LLAsports.com, 75% of you believe that Gambit will be taking the win. That's a big vote considering Alliance's awesome form last weekend.
Yeah, it's a very big vote actually. Let's say 55-45 to Gambit, just looking at the two teams and also Gambit's performance at IEM. But combo-wise, I'll give it slightly to Alliance.
I want to know what your thoughts are. Obviously, you've been in this position before as a pro player. Alliance have had a week off.
Yeah.
Gambit have had a week at a tournament. Who is going to be better prepared for this game?
Actually, it's really, really hard to say, because obviously, of course, Gambit now played against a few different play styles. They can maybe pick up a few things from it.
They made some adjustments coming into this. Yeah.
That the European teams are not ready for, because they didn't play against these international teams that Gambit did. So they will have the advantage on that part. But then Alliance have had more time to practice and just focus 100% on this game. Where, of course, Gambit have used a lot of focus and time on preparing for IEM. Alliance didn't have to do it.
Well, we'll see how it works out, ladies and gentlemen, as we go live for Game 1 of the week. And, of course, Gambit versus Alliance. Gambit currently tied top of the table. Nyph just sidestepping the shot from Edward there. And, of course, Gambit, they could take themselves sole first place. Of course, that's until SK Gaming play later. Alliance, who themselves are tied for 4th place, could maybe try and sneak into that 4th place all on their own.
And let's look at these lanes early on here. Top lane wise, of course, Renekton will be in the advantage early. Mid lane, it's going to be fairly even. Alex should be able to farm, but we need to remember, of course, the wind wall does not block the auto attack from Alex when he's activating, or from Froggen, sorry, when he's activating his E. So he will be able to harass him all the time unless he's jumping around through the minions from Alex's side. Bot lane wise, I really like the early aggression you can do with this Jinx and this Karma. Like, Karma early game is so strong. You have so high base damage, where Nami provides very little amount of damage. It's more CC and a small heal.
We'll see how it works out at the moment. We're watching everybody stand off in those early lanes. Remember, we're in the 4.3 patch. They can place the wards now, not like the 4.4 where it's down to a 2-minute marker. We'll be getting to that one in a week's time, I believe that'll be. But as it stands, we are having a full-on standoff. Genja's going to see Nyph coming down that river. I don't think he's going to allow him to pass. And
of course, we have the early Ruby Crystal from Nyph. We need to remember here in 4.3, it costs 400 gold now. Instead of the 475 it used to cost. So you can start with it, get the 2 potions, be very tanky when it comes to the lane, and you can get an early Sidestone, sell your Trinket Ward, switch it into a sweeping lens, so then you have a lot of vision control.
Even on that spell piece edge, we'll see if that gives any benefit. Edward's going to be accurate with his shots. It's his Q. I can never remember the damn name of that thing. It is the Inner Flame, of course. That's the one it is.
And we see actually early on here in the lane how Gambit moves up through the minions here, taking full control early on, because again, Nami provides nothing in the first few levels. You're just a CC machine, very little on a very small heal you have. It costs a lot of mana, so full control for Gambit here early on in the lane. Will get the early level 2 as well.
You can get a lot of damage down if you can land that Aqua Prisoner with the boomerang hovering over, which is what they're going to try and look to do, but as it stands you can see the passiveness and the combo that can come out again onto Tabzz. Nyph doing a good job though, he'll go up straight away.
And this is what Gambit will do all the time here. And then we need to see if Diamond decides to go up top lane to help Darien early on, or if you want to come down towards mid lane, make sure Alex can farm, because Shook, this is standard alliance. He's always ganking mid early, and let's see.
Sneaks around, but Alexic spots him early, but he does get a good burst of damage. And remember that red buff still ticking, but Diamond's now coming around the mid lane. Can he jump on towards Shook? He will not land the Q, and Shook will just step away.
So Diamond actually moved from his blue buff up towards top, but then he saw Evelynn and he moved back into the mid lane where Evelynn was ganking, and Alliance every single game they will gank the mid lane early.
Yeah, that was the flash, of course, burn though for that jungler, so we do see Gambit trying to take advantage of that one. Diamond straight into towards the wolf camp. He knows that Shook has gone north because he saw the vision of it. That does mean he can steal away that jungle. We'll see whether he makes a move on towards his bottom lane.
And now the lack of flash onto Shook might force him to just farm up till level 6 before he can do anything. And Diamond, he's still staying around this mid lane here. Can he try something? Because Froggen is pushed far up in the lane. He's
pushed far up, but he's got a giant stack of minions with him, so it would be a dangerous play for either of them to go for it. Alexic hasn't got that wind force built up. He does manage to go in towards it. Diamond again does not land his kick, but he will put a big chunk of damage down on towards Froggen. This time he does manage to get that wind on towards him, but really not going to do much about it.
But the very nice juke from Froggen actually meant he could save his flash here. He didn't have to use it. Wasn't enough damage onto him. And now back into his bot lane. Early CS lead for Genja here. Doing really, really well together with Edward and just poking onto lines all the time.
Speaking of CS, check out that top lane. Darien is doing a fantastic job up against Wickd right now. This is a lane he should not be winning in early on here. Diamond is going to find Shook. He wants to step away from that one. Does take a hate spike in the back there. Does manage to land the kick and goes in for it on towards Shook. The two mid laners finally are going to react to this one. Who's going to come out best? Diamond's in all sorts of trouble. Has to flash into the Dragon Pit. He's going to get closed off. His bottom lane's pushed in. Alex H, meanwhile, he dives on towards Shook. The Ignite's being used up there. Puts the wind wall down. Doesn't quite manage to land the shot. Turns onto Froggen. Froggen's going to turn it back around. He gets himself first blood. Diamond is going to back away from this one. Froggen walks away, no problem.
And Alex decided to flash onto Shook here, trying to get the kill on him, and then Froggen just came in and took the first blow onto him. So very nice start from Alliance and very aggressive play from Shook. Despite having no flash, still went 1v1 against Lee Sin early.
Well, Darien in his top lane is keeping up close-ish in terms of farm. He just took a big chunk of damage, as you saw in the end of that play. He did start off with that Doran Shield, and this is something we've seen develop, and this is what we actually expected to see a lot of in 4.3. Of course, that Doran Shield did take a bit of a hit in the 4.3 patch, which is why we can see Wickd went with that Doran Shield, went aggressive in lane.
Yeah, it really shows the difference in these two champions early on. Renekton wants to push up the lane, he wants to fight early. Look at here, Diamond coming in, Wickd wise enough, just backing off, not risking anything here. But yeah, the Doran's Blade on Renekton is signaling, I want to fight, I want to push the lane early, I want to win it. Doran Shield is actually one of the only options you have against Renekton, because you want to stop some of the damage. You could potentially go Cloth Armor into 5 potions, but I don't feel it's as good.
Doran's Blade's coming out everywhere from Gambit right now, and of course the lack of ability power may well hurt them later on in the game. We'll see how that affects them. You can see Doran's Blade stacking all over. So it's the triple Doran's build for Darien in that top lane that Freddy started off many weeks ago.
Full-on lane control build. He just want to make sure he can survive the early game, get the farm he wants. And Shook, he's once again near this mid lane. He's only level 4 to the level 5 of Diamond, so he's very focused on ganking and not on farming.
I'm just going to wait for Alex Hitch. He's actually close to level 6, not quite there yet. Froggen's going to be more ahead because, of course, he got that kill on towards him, and that's why you can see that big burst of aggression, and Froggen going very aggressive onto Alex Hitch. Meanwhile, down this bottom lane, we see Gambit continuing to push in.
just constantly pushing up. They will get a lot of damage onto this turret every single time they get the wave in if they follow up. Of course, they need to be a little bit aware of where Evelynn is. But as long as there's no level 6 onto Shook, it's hard for him to actually lock them down unless we get a bubble from Nyph.
Well, Genja was obviously feeling a bit of pressure in that bottom lane. The fact that he went with that second Doran's Blade along with a longsword. Meanwhile, of course, Vampiric Scepter for Tabzz. So Tabzz technically ahead in terms of build between these, despite the fact he is slightly behind in terms of farm. Nyph's going to get poked on there by Edward. Just that's all they're going to get.
And we need to see here if Genja decides to go with the build from IM Katowice, where he always went Infinity Edge, into Cutlass, into Zephyr, into whatever weird items he could find. So let's see actually if he decides to go this route, or he decides to build more standard at least. Maybe a Bloodthirst on to Jinx.
Darien just placed a ward over on the red buff. We'll see whether that gets followed up on by Diamond perhaps, or whether they're just simply keeping those deep ward vision of Shook, because Shook of course going to come into that lane, maybe try and save himself money on that pink ward. Edward goes aggressive, gets the stun on towards Tabzz and puts a good bit of poke on with the inner flame, but they are going to step away from this one. They do see the river, and Diamond is heading towards that red buff.
Yeah, because the red buff spawned here. Either they're going to take it straight away, so he actually does decide to Sonic Wave it, so they want to try and take it before Evelynn is there, or they can wait, let Shook start it, and then they come in behind him and just kill him while he's doing the red buff.
Well, Shook's going to sneak around, he's going to find it's possible, and Froggen comes straight in towards that bush, use that speed buff, manages to jump away there, Diamond. And Alex Hitch wasn't quite close enough to contest this one. Aqua Prison catches on Genja, quickly turned around by Edward though, putting the poke down, the barrier comes out. Tabzz getting caught by the chompers, the ignite was used by Edward, and that forces him away. And now Edward, he turns back on towards Nyph. Genja though, not really wanting to back this one up.
And now the Alliance bot lane are really starting to fight back here. Very good bubble onto Genja. The ignite was there, forcing his flash. The sap did miss from him, so they didn't get all the damage onto Tabzz they wanted. And now Evelynn towards top needs to be careful because Diamond is coming in as well.
They're going to go for it, Darien. He has got Dragon Descent available. As soon as he pops out, there it is. He tries to get away from this one. He's got a safeguard from Diamond, just running defensive duties. He's going to go into it from Wickd. He has got Dominus still running here, and they're going to try and push Alliance back.
And if Wickd didn't flash here, he would have died because Diamond would have his ultimate. You just finish him off there. So good flash by him, and very nice counter gank by Diamond, beating where Shook wants to go.
Good counterplay between the two, but Wickd, as expected, did build up a big CS difference in that top lane, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on this tower right now. We see Shook, he can't stick around, he's going to go and take away his golems, which means Gambit are going to put a lot of pressure on towards that tower.
This is perfect for Gambit. You get some gold onto Darien, you make sure he can get some farm here, and of course you give gold to the rest of your team. So very good for Gambit. Once again, it's the counter gang from Diamond that sets everything up. This is why he absolutely loves Lee Sin.
So, 9 minutes into this game, first tower goes down. It is in the top lane. See whether that frees them up or not. Froggen, he's going roaming, heading down south. He's going to be looking to either go towards the bottom lane or maybe a red buff. Oh, Edward, he's in trouble. He needs to be backing away already. The pressure on him. Oh, that Boomerang Blade almost certainly was signaling. No. The wave will not follow, but Froggen's going to walk in and get himself a very easy kill there on Edward.
I have absolutely no idea why Edward decided to stay with his turret. He had no chance to wave clear because he was so low, and you saw Alliance there. Bot lane just almost killed him by himself, so I'm not sure why he stayed around. I guess he was just waiting for Genja and trying to wave clear.
We do see Alex Hitch keeping that pressure on, but Shook runs active guard duty and clears out the wave. So Alex Hitch, he's going to go back. We'll see whether he goes towards that static shiv. That's the build you generally tend to see on the Yasuos, the static shiv into Infinity Edge, and then generally, well, you can do what you want because you've got a pretty strong build undergo. This top lane, this is what I'm really interested in to see how this battle continues. We see the Tiamat now on Wickd. He's at 96 farm compared to 70 of Darien, but that's not too bad when you consider Shyvana will start getting stronger now. We're only up to the level 8 marker.
Exactly, this is just fine for Shyvana. We have now the Chain West onto him as well, so he's going to stop a lot of the damage from Wickd, who's been building up towards this Hydra, so he wants to focus on wave clearing very fast, possibly even rotating then down to the mid lane after he pushes out the lane, and also he wants some more upfront damage towards the Shyvana. But Darien will outscale him. There will be, in 10-15 minutes time, at least 15 minutes time, we will see Darien starting to win the 1v1 and force Wickd out of the lane.
We're putting poke on towards Tabzz, but Tabzz catching Genja with his Boomerang Blade. Looks like Diamond's not going to get involved in this one, and actually we do see Alliance making a move down river. They could be heading towards that dragon. It seems they will.
And Gambit really need to be careful in case they decide to fight, because Darien is actually around his mid lane so he can join in, but there's no flash onto Genja. He's an easy target for Alliance to lock down. Will Gambit be there in time, or will the dragon go to Alliance? Got it.
Very quick dragon there, but they may well try and fight this one. Darien walks straight into 4 members of Alliance, uses that dragon descent and goes very deep on this one. Didn't really have the backup of his team. They finally arrived, but that was a little aggressive stuff from Darien, and it's left his top tower exposed to Wickd.
Yeah, and the rest of Gambit, they weren't in a position to follow up. Only Alex was there, but he couldn't ultimate onto the ulti from Darien, so he couldn't really join in the fight. And as you said yourself, Wickd getting a lot of damage on this top turret, already down to 50%. Next time Darien decides to roam away, he can take it.
Could have done without taking those 3 tower hits over there. I feel Wickd going a little too aggressive maybe. Nyph may well get caught out here. They're going to put the burst damage down on him. He's used the ignite, but the rocket completely missing there. There goes the wave. Genja's going to be riding that one. Diamond is going to try and move around the top, but it is all covered by wards.
Now this rocket would have killed Nyph, but if we just go back to the dragon, what we saw from Alliance was very smart decision because the bot lane from Gambit were not in a position to join. Also, Diamond had recalled to base, so he couldn't join in as well. Instantly, they just went 4 members to the dragon, and Wickd just stayed in the top lane. Even though Darien was missed, they didn't care, they just started it. So very smart and fast decision by Alliance.
Diamond tries to turn an advantage in that bottom blue buff, but we do see the top lane. Froggen coming in on towards Darien. Dragon Descent will be back available, but they are going to push towards him. Where is Darien going to run to? We saw him making some impressive runs at the weekend. Not too sure he's going to be allowed to get that far away. Froggen will land that slow on towards him any second. No! Needs to use his own speed buff. He will finally catch him because he's got the extra boots on towards him. There we go. Now he can turn the damage back on towards Darien. He's going to be able to do nothing about this one. It's a second kill for Froggen.
And Alex weren't able to push up the mid lane because he actually walked towards the top lane first, trying to save Darien. So instead of him running towards mid lane, trying to push it out, nothing happened against him. But now Diamond in the bot.
Diamond manages to land the kick, the Sonic Wave on Nyph. You can see Genja, he's going to be picking up the kill. It was not, it was Diamond. I'm pretty certain he wanted to give that one across the Genja, but I think the Red Buff stole it.
But very easy gank from Gambit. We see the pink ward here in the tri-bush from their side, so they knew at least Diamond could run into the river, being not spotted at all, and then it was too late for Nyph to do anything once he actually saw him on his own ward.
Big problem starting to develop here for Gambit. The fact that Froggen has got all those 3 kills, you can see his item build really starting to stack up here. Genja does take himself that bottom turret. Meanwhile, the top turret went down. Wickd putting pressure on towards that one. So it is 2-1 in terms of turrets for Gambit. But you see this mid turret, Froggen putting pressure on it. He has got Shook coming. Wickid's heading down the bottom. They're not going to take it this go, but you can see they're starting to put pressure. Diamond's going to come around. He's got to be careful. He's got a giant crocodile behind him. And now Edward. Oh, where are you going to go? He gets caught out by the slow Shook. Doesn't quite catch the speed on him, though. And Edward does escape.
And now Darien is coming down here. A lot of members have Diamond actually being the one to try to catch out.
Oh, Aqua Prism was used. Dragon Descent from Darien. They're going to try and turn this fight around. Is it a fight they want? The rocket already being used by Genja. They don't really have the damage to pursue on towards the tower, though.
Don't have the damage, and they don't have the crowd control either to lock down this Alliance team, so they can just back out whenever they decide to. Everyone is having so much utility, so much move speed to just disengage the fights. That's also why they can actually play so aggressive, and we might even see more fights here because now Tabzz is joining in with ultimate.
Very aggressive stuff from Gambit here. Diamond is off at the side. He can safeguard to Edward, which he will use to escape there. Nyph doesn't really have the mana to go aggressive on them, which he probably was thinking, and that red buff will go back across the shoot.
And let's see now how Gambit decides to play this, because they have obviously lost the top turret now. They lost the first dragon. Laning-wise, they're doing well on farm. They're actually winning at least bot lane and mid lane here, so that's very good for them. But they need to be careful against this Alliance combo once we get to team fights, once we get to the mid game, because it is so scary to deal with, and they need to make sure they are ahead because they're full physical. Once we get armor items onto Alliance, it's going to be so hard for them to actually kill them unless they have some armor penetration. And look here, Genja actually having the Cutlass.
Come for the Cutlass. We'll see where he goes with that one. At the moment, the chompers have been thrown down. The call onto Froggen. He's not really too worried. There's the Aqua Prism and Edward. The burst coming out from Froggen is too strong, and it's the 4th kill of the game for Alliance and Froggen.
And Gambit is just handing the kills over to Froggen here. Once again, they're way too overextended. Good bubble from Nyph. Easy kill for the Kayle now. 4 kills onto Kayle, and we know what a late game monster she is.
It has to be a worry for Gambit. They can't let this one go. They're not really getting the kills on Alex Ich. Alex Ich has got that static shift built up now, but he's been off on his own. He's farming down the lanes, and he's getting good farm. But unfortunately for him, his mid laner is being fed up here. Darien and Wickd, they're continuing to go back at it. Wicked still feeling he has the better of Darien, forces him away. Shook is coming up here, though, on towards this one. Wickd trying to bait it as long as he can, but I think Shook may well get spotted.
And the good thing for Darien here is he's getting so tanky he can actually farm the wave and then back off. He will take some damage, but he can still always back off. And Froggen here, down in the bot lane, 2 members from Alliance, and Diamond going in.
Sonic Wave does go in towards him, he gets the kick, that shouldn't be enough. Intervention being used by Froggen, but he will finally get taken down by Alexic. A good shutdown bonus for him. Tabzz on towards Genja, not going to be quite enough.
Beautiful combo. We see Diamond coming over. He kicks and instantly you see Yasuo ultimate onto Froggen, just taking him down so much single target burst damage.
And this is a lot of damage on towards his turret. Only Shook able to try and defend this one. Not too sure he's got enough. He's going to have to use that ultimate. He tries to come around, tries to poke down as much as he can. All defensive duty. He does put a lot of damage down onto him, but to be fair, and they're going to try and pursue. Nyph is coming around that wave. He's never going to catch on towards them. The wind wall completely blocks it.
And notice again, wind wall here, pop it onto the wave, you just instantly stops it. Instantly. It's a very good use of wind wall from Alex. The wave wouldn't have caught anyway.
And great timing on that Dragon for Gambit this time around. Remember, Alliance picked up the first one. They had full timing. They are going to come around and try and pick this one up. At the moment, though, the pressure is on the mid lane.
Yeah, Alliance is actually in a better position because 2 members from Gambit have to run from the base. It's only Shook from Alliance coming down here. We might see the first big team fight. Vision-wise, both have a pink ward in the same bush.
Edward is completely separate from the team, and Darien's getting pursued upon. Dragon Descent being used. He jumps in towards Nyph. Not really got the team with him, though. He's going to have to flash away, and Wickd goes deep on this one, picks up the kill, and just slides on in towards the Dragon Pit.
So very nice use of the Sivir ultimate from Tabzz, starting the fight when Darien is out of position and the rest of Gambit is not nearby. They are still pursuing Alliance away actually, and Diamond going deep on this one. He takes way too much of damage, and Froggen gets himself a 5th kill. He is on a mission. Now Diamond safeguarded into the face of Wickd, instantly just got stunned and just killed. And again, Gambit were only 4 members. I'm not sure why they tried to engage the fight.
Yeah, Alexic back down the bottom, farming out the wave. He is coming back up here, but they're not really going to be able to do anything about this one. He's looking to see whether he can try and throw that ultimate to a squishy target, but instead, Alliance get themselves the 2nd dragon of the game.
And again, good use of the combo from Alliance. He is starting the fight when they knew that the 5 members from Gambit were not nearby, just went straight onto Darien and took the kill. He actually decided to jump into them, making it a little bit easier for them, but still, they managed to pick up the kill, and we saw how good the Sivir ultimate is.
So, 5 kills for Froggen. Pointing down one to watch, and again, Lichbane almost completed. Gambit, they are starting to fall away from this game. You've got to be careful they don't let it snowball in towards Alliance's favour. At the moment, it is a 3,000 gold advantage. They are equal in turrets, but Alliance seems to have positional advantage over Gambit every time they get into a fight.
Yeah, the positive thing though for Gambit, as we talked about earlier, is the fact that Alex and Genja have been able to farm so well, so they will be getting some early items. They will get, once we get into the 25-minute mark, some of the strong items. The Infinity Edge for Alex, of course, is very, very important. We're going to see what Genja, he's actually building towards Infinity Edge himself. I have to disagree with the build. When it comes to Jinx, so you want more upfront burst damage, and of course, with your 2nd item possibly being a Blade of the Rune King, you don't get any extra crit to supply your Infinity Edge.
And what do we think of Edward going full Spell Thieves upgrade to the Frostfang? The Frost Queen? Frost Queen's Claim is the exact name for it. I mean, that's... Well, we always wonder whether the top upgrade is too far on that item.
Well, what he can do with it is use it to disengage. Once the Sivir ultimate is popped and run towards it, you back off with your team with your own mobility on Karma, and you just fire the the Queen into the face of them and slow them down.
He does get the slow on towards Wicked, but all they're going to do is take the pink ward and push away on that one, keeping Darien fed. And something we've always heard from the Alliance team members is if Wicked wins his lane, he's far more vocal, far more receptive in terms of team fights, and can go aggressive. Oh, Alexic, he won't see Shook here.
I love the play from Shook here. He just walks down with him. Froggen, he overextends on purpose. He wants Alex to jump him here, and then Shook would just join it and turn the fight around. But again, back to the item from Edward. I would actually like to see Talisman when you're against such a mobile team like Sivir. It's going to help you out, even though you have your own movement speed buff. The Talisman always helps.
They are still continuing, and Shook living as the shadow of Froggen as they come around for this one. Diamond is also there though, so let's not get carried away in this one. It could be a close exchange. Froggen gets caught, doesn't get dived on by Alex. The ward was there, and they are looking to go aggressive, but they've got to realize if Alex is staying around, he uses the intervention early on to defend that damage, and there's just so much on Alex hit there, they just couldn't counter it. And now Diamond, he's going to get caught out. He gets the kill on Froggen, but he will go down to Shook unless he manages to pull out for Great Escape. One more kill, and that will be Shook.
And Froggen, he blocked so much damage with his ultimate once Alex went in there, so they got so much damage onto him that when Froggen actually lost the ultimate, he was still healthy enough to just take the kill. Yes, he ended up dying, very nice by Diamond, but then Shook could just pick up the kill. And he can now push this bot lane, while the rest of Alliance keep the members of Gambit in check.
Well, we did see Darien continuing to put pressure and actually starting to win out the fight against Wickd now. Shook will take this bottom turret though. That's going to give Alliance the turret advantage and continue that gold advantage. It's going to be now a 4,000 gold in the plus for Alliance, and they can keep that pressure on. That top turret though is getting really harassed. Darien, is he going to stick around too long? He will back away. Good use of time.
But Darien, he's doing an absolutely fantastic job pushing down Wickd all the time, even with the early Randuins, so he's having a lot of armor. Of course, some of the damage from Shyvana is magic, so that's where the Randuin Omen won't help. But Darien is doing a fantastic job just pushing in the wave and getting all the farm, and now he might be caught.
Alliance are going to try and push on towards this one. Darien, will he get the stun onto him one more time? And Froggen will catch up the moment it's on there. He's going to use that burnout. Can he get the run? The stun comes out from Wickd. It's going to be enough. There's the slow, and Darien goes down. Meanwhile, Alexich and Shook, they're going at it in the bottom lane. Shook's not going to be able to survive this one though. Alexich is putting damage down. He's going to try and turn it back around, but Diamond comes in to save the day and lands the Sonic Wave.
And Diamond has been doing a fantastic job staying with Alex all the time. Every single time Alex is in issues, he's there to try and help. Picks up another kill for himself. He's on 3-2-1 now, has the score, so he's doing a very good job. Darien though, he tried to recall up top and Wickd just went into him and stopped him, and then Froggen joined in and picked up another very easy kill for him.
Oh, they're going aggressive. That's going to be on the hunt use. They're trying to catch on towards Diamond. He's got nowhere to run. He gets caught out. The Aqua Prison is nice. And Tabzz gets himself the kill.
And another reason why in Korea they absolutely love Sivir. If someone is out of position, you pop the ultimate and you just chase them down, and there's nothing they can do.
Edward now, he's running for his life. He's got Genja in support, but you can see Alliance, they're trying to use positional advantage, bully him away from that mid lane, but Genja is there with support of Alex.
Now, looking on the minimap, we have the Dragon coming up in 1 minute. The vision control for both teams are very poor. We don't see any pink wards. We have very little amount of green wards actually, so nobody is really getting the control and can then catch out the enemy. We've just seen people overextending up in the lanes and then being caught out over and over again. Goes for both teams, by the way. Now, 40 seconds onto the Dragon. Let's see if Alliance, with the pink wards here and with a deep ward into the jungle on the red, if they can set something up.
Well, they try and pull that red out with the Boomerang Blade, which they will do. They've got Shook there, so they'll be able to take this one down in no time at all. But it does reset itself, and Edward is lying in wait. The rest of the Gambit coming in towards this one. This may be a mistake by Alliance, and they're going to back away.
Yeah, Froggen is down in the bot lane. He wouldn't be able to join, so wisely enough, they don't take the fight. But let's see here if Gambit actually wants to contest this one. We see Darien already moving here from the top lane down, so I expect a big fight.
Well, Alliance are all splintered at the moment. They are starting to regroup over towards that Dragon. Edward's trying to get some poke, and he does land it on towards Tabzz. Remember, he gets that ability power bonus. They're going to try and separate Nyph here. Nyph having to just dash away from that one, defend off this turret while the rest of Alliance rotate in.
And let's see here. Getting the wave pushed out so they can actually get some wards. So very good play by Gambit. Getting control of this river area before that you actually start the Dragon means that you can set up the wards here. You can try and get a catch. So like what they're doing with pushing out the mid lane first. Let's see Alliance though. They're moving the very smart and safe way into the river. And they're ready to fight.
Edward doesn't quite land that slow. He doesn't get the poke, and now Gambit have been separated. On the hunt being used to chase down the target. It seems to be Edward they're going to find, but a good slow from Edward turns it back around. Darien tried to sneak in around the back. Genja pops a cork on towards Froggen, doesn't quite land it, and it is going to be the Dragon being pulled out by Gambit. They are going to resist.
Still, four members have ultimate from Alliance here, so they can still fight. Only the ultimate from Tabzz was used. Let's see if Gambit wants to try and contest. Genja taking poke.
Big damage from Froggen on towards Genja. Edward trying to slow it down, but he gets separated and chopped down there. Now AlexH dives in. He catches his ultimate on 3 members of Alliance there. Is it going to be enough? AlexH has to run for his life. Got to try and pop on towards Shook, but Shook runs him down. Now Tabzz, he's going to try and come around. Nyph is safe from Darien. Darien tries to turn the aggression around, but Froggen and Nyph are there. And would you believe it? Nyph gets the kill.
And Gambit, they're so split when the fight starts. It's perfect for Alliance. They stay together as a unit. They have so much movement speed, so they can just catch out members all the time from Gambit's side. If Gambit is not standing 5 men together, it is too easy for Alliance to just constantly find the right targets and harass them down even before the fight actually started.
The 3rd Dragon of the game for Alliance, and they are moving up towards the Baron here. They're sweeping out the lenses. There's nothing there, no vision. They're going to be aware of the situation because they ran straight across that mid lane area. And, well, Gambit are going to run for this, but they are a little late to the party. Diamond now coming in. Can he manage to get close enough? You can see that Baron. It's taken very low. They quickly peel towards Diamond. He can't get close enough. He wants to get in there, but it is a quick Baron for Alliance. And now they're on towards Diamond. A quick swing of the blade from Froggen, and he just chunks Diamond down to half health.
And very good move from Alliance here. They went straight towards the Baron. They knew there was no vision. Once they popped down the sweeping lens, it was safe for them to do it because they had full control if Diamond would run into the Baron pit and just stop him before he could actually get in there to steal it. So good move by Alliance, and they're really using their advantage this game.
It's taken this super team to get going. It's taken them a while, that's for sure. We are into week 9 now, and of course Alliance, after that perfect 4-0 victory, can they continue that win streak? This would be 5 games on the bounce if they were to take down Gambit, and 2 of those games would include Gambit themselves.
And now Kayle, Deathcap, Lichbane, and of course the Nash's Tooth. At 27 minutes, that is a very, very strong Kayle. It's gonna be so difficult to even get close to Froggen because he's gonna have so much burst.
He's also picked up the Scrying Orb, so we'll see whether he makes use of that one, how much he manages to spot it out. At the moment, he is all on his own, and he's got Alexic and Diamond. The combo this time around, but the combo back on towards Alexic. Uses that intervention on himself. He's going to take Alexic down. He gets caught out with the ultimate, but he will not go down here. Will he be able to survive? No, he doesn't, but Shook comes straight in towards Diamond. He's got Tabzz coming around the side, but he does manage to run himself among. Is he going to be able to avoid it? No. On the hunt being used, Diamond's got nowhere to run. He gets caught out by Tabzz.
And Froggen actually used the ultimate too early on himself. He thought he would get knocked up, and then he had to ultimate before the ultimate from Yasuo was popped, but nothing happened, so he actually completely wasted it. And Darien, he's just pushing up here.
Darien is trying to push up on the top wave, but
why?
Look at Wickd. Wickd's doing the same.
Yeah, Wickd
and
has
actually
minions.
has the minions with him. Genja now caught out. No escape on this one, and Shook will run him down. The rest of Alliance, they push in towards this mid turret.
And they will be able to pick it up. Wickd joining in now with a big wave to top lane here, being killed by the turret. They won't be able to rotate, however, to top because Darien actually killed the wave. But Wickd, he wants to die.
He's going to dive on towards Edward. Edward taking low. Darien tries to do anything he can to keep them away from this turret, but Tabzz is just hammering away at it with those boomerangs, keeping it, but jumping it down, but he's going to have to back out. Froggen is back up, and Alliance will step away. That Baron buff is doing wonders for them now. It's still got just shy of 2 minutes on it.
And they're staying around here this mid lane. With Froggen joining in, they will be able to continue push, or they're actually backing off here. Again, just one thing to highlight. The fact that Darien did kill the wave up in the top meant that Alliance couldn't rotate to top lane once after they actually had to fight in mid and then try and take the turret.
Yeah, remember that bottom lane was also taken by Alex. He pushed it up there, so Alliance are stalled out. They got themselves that inner turret though, and they got themselves some pressure. Diamond is trying to get himself in towards one of those side positions that we saw Insect doing so well in Katowice, but it is just not working for him, despite the fact actually Alliance don't have that great vision.
And I would actually like to see Gambit have a few pink wards in their own jungle now. Find a place to camp and just wait for Alliance to walk in with 5 members or 2 or 3 members if they feel too overconfident they're gonna win this game, and then just punish them. Pick up the kill like we've seen with Diamond and Alex. Once they actually find someone, knock them away with the ultimate from Diamond, then pop the ultimate from Alex. It is a very good combo, and they are just waiting around here. Let's see if Alliance decides to push too far up.
Back away, and Froggen play takes the safe with Shook's being ghosted here by Darien. Darien continues around there, but Tabzz is coming in. They're going to bait this one out. Shook has got the ultimate available if he wants to try and slow Darien down. On the hunt being used by Tabzz, and Darien, he is going to drag into center cross. Aqua Prison will not follow, but the flash from Shook will be enough, and you can see the speed boost from Darien is not enough. Nyph's going to come around, doesn't manage to get the poke on towards him, gets the slowdown. Still the Aqua Prison misses. Darien still trying to run away from this one.
Darien.
Is it going to be enough? No! Shook gets in there, gets the kill.
And he's just delaying time because meanwhile in the bot lane here, 2 members from Alliance once again, 2 members from Gambit, it's Diamond and Alex once again pushing up here. But Wickd is not the person they want to go for. He's too tanky for him to actually just instantly burst down.
And they've left the mid lane exposed to Froggen, who's just going to plow through everything in its path. He's only got Genja in there to try and stop him, and that's not going to be enough. Edward's trying to do his defensive duties in the top inner turret, and that's going to go down quickly. Alliance take themselves another turret.
And we see Alex trying to back off here. Wickd will actually be able to stop him if he goes in aggressive. But Gambit though, they are in big issues. And if they don't get the perfect fight or a pick here, I don't see how they can actually turn the game around.
Wickd continues pushing, chasing, trying to keep Diamond away this time around. Has done a fantastic job of keeping himself safe in there. Alexic is back in the base, and Alliance are going to step away. Job done with that Baron buff. Fantastic work. They're now 18-5 up in kills, 5-2 in turrets, and a gigantic 11,000 gold lead in 31 minutes.
There's the Zephyr. On to Genja.
There is the Zephyr. I mean, We can't explain this one,
No,
can we?
okay,
There's
so
just no way to explain it.
here's
Because
my idea
there's a
with the
Randian's
item.
Omen on 2 members of Alliance, yet there's no Last Whisper.
But here's the idea for me with the item. It gives movement speed, and movement speed is so strong in this current meta. Again, against a lineup like Alliance, where there's so much utility, you want the movement speed, but you don't get the extra crit to supply you Infinity Edge. So there's no reason actually to go to Infinity Edge, and at the same time, you just don't get the same amount of damage as you normally would, and that's what he's missing out on. No Last Whisper, as you said yourself, against Randuin's Omen Renekton, Randuin's Omen on Evelynn. How is he ever gonna kill one of these 2 tanks? He's not. He's not gonna touch them. So that's what I dislike about the way he's building.
There was a serious lack of conviction in your voice there as you try to explain as best you possibly could why on earth he's gone for that Zephyr. And honestly, you're not on your own, because there was a lot of AD carriers that were saying exactly the same thing on Twitter. Tabzz has found Darien in his top lane. Darien, by the way, is 0-5-0 so far. Not working out too well from him on that Shyvana, despite the reasonable start he had there. Shook in that jungle, starting to keep all warp vision away from Gambit. Of course, their sweeping lenses doing work for them right now. And this bottom inner turret, the final inner turret for Gambit, is the next focus for Alliance. Darien going to try and get around the side.
Yeah, Alliance need to be careful because Tabzz is in the base. There's only 4 members. This is the time for Gambit to fight.
They're going to try and push on towards it, but Talisman is popped. There we see the wave coming out, and they will step away, no problem.
And this is where I would have loved a Talisman onto Edward, so he could pop it himself to start the fight when Darien was moving down from the mid lane. Because Tabzz, again, he was not nearby. Darien actually saw him over with the Raves beforehand. And now Alliance pushing down once again. Tabzz is still behind him, but so is Genja. He's at the Raves.
They've got the slow on Darien. He's going to have to use that Dragon Descent. The rest of Alliance are coming in here. As you mentioned, Tabzz is coming around the side. The final inner turret will almost certainly be the focus for Alliance. And Gambit, they are backtracking.
Well, let's see if Alliance actually wants to dive this one or just try and poke onto Gambit. They don't have the best poke. We have Froggen, who needs to be kind of close in here. It's going to be risky for him, and of course Tabzz is going to be the same. So they don't have like this long range poke onto Gambit. They might actually have to dive it.
Well, Wickd may well try and do that. He comes around the side with that tower. Does end up stepping away, gets on towards one of the chompers, but Shook comes around the side, lands the ultimate onto Edward top down. Alex does manage to land a good ulti, but it's just not enough damage anymore. They're turning around. Darien's going to get taken down by Tabzz. Nyph managing to get himself a kill as well. Diamond's being pursued here. One more hit. That's going to be Wickd. Runs him down, and they're going to tank out the turret and just push on through the base.
And Alliance is simply just so far ahead at the moment. There's no chance for Gambit to win the fights. Everything this game for Alliance has been so sport on. They got all the dragons, they won all the team fights, and they're just doing so well.
They're just going to run through the base here. Alexic is doing a job. He's stopping the minions, so it's forcing them to have to tank out this one. But they're quite willing to do that. They've got double Randian's Omens on this team. There's no worries about tanking those Nexus turrets down. Alliance are just going to run on through the base and take down Gambit here for the victory. Alexic finally comes back. Intervention on towards Shook. They're just going to hit down the Nexus turret. Alliance will come out victorious and will continue their victory streak. 5-0 now for Alliance.
And they managed to beat Gambit in the Super Week. They win once again here. Very good combo, very good play overall, and they just managed to punish every time Gambit was out of position. They picked up a kill to them, and again, that's why you win the game.
That is how you win the game, and it was a fantastic performance. Well, like everyone, honestly, from Alliance. And this is what we said in the opening. You know, it was an OP team performance by Alliance. This super team that was thrown together, they've had a bad Super Week and they've had a fantastic Super Week. And that run seems to be continuing of their form. Gambit, well, they performed admirably at the Intel Extreme Masters, but Alliance, after a week off, they look nigh on unstoppable.
Gambit simply just, again, as soon as you got out of the laning phase, because Alex was actually farming well, we had Genja farming well, but once it got to the team fights, the high mobility of Alliance in the team comp simply meant that every time Gambit wasn't grouped, found a target, killed him.
And you've got to really question, you know, the fact that Froggen was given kill after